Most civilizations are destroyed by fire, water, or war. But Madyan? Madyan was erased by a sound. And the reason why is happening in your city right now. Imagine you live in a city where everyone cheats. Not secretly, openly. The butcher, the baker, the cloth merchant, everyone. And if you complain, they laugh at you. This is just how business works. Now imagine one man stands up in the middle of the market and says, "This is wrong." What happens to that man? This is the story of Shuaib, and it happened long before your city existed. Madyan, a city built on trade, sitting at the crossroads of three civilizations: Arabia, Egypt, the Levant. Every caravan passed through Madyan. Every merchant knew its name. If you wanted to buy, Madyan. If you wanted to sell, Madyan. The city was rich, embarrassingly rich. But there was a secret behind that wealth. Not hard work, not good product, not fair trade. The secret was the scale. Every merchant in Madyan had two sets of weights, two sets of measures. When a customer came to buy from them, the scale tipped in the merchant's favor. You paid for 10, you got 8. When the merchant went to buy from someone else, the scale tipped again. He paid for 8, he got 10. Both ways, they won. Both ways, someone else lost. And here is what made it truly dangerous. Nobody thought it was wrong anymore. Fathers taught sons, merchants taught apprentices, elders sat in the market and nodded approvingly. Smart boy, knows how to do business. A whole civilization running on stolen weight. Into this city, into this market, into this culture of carefully calculated theft, Allah sent Shuaib. Shuaib was not an outsider. He was not a stranger who came to lecture them. He was one of them. Born in Madyan, raised in its markets. He knew every merchant by name. He knew exactly how the scales worked. And that is precisely why it hurt them so much when he spoke. He didn't write a letter. He didn't whisper to a few people. He walked into the marketplace, the busiest, loudest, most crowded part of the city, and he raised his voice. "Oh, my people, give full measure, give full weight. Do not cheat people of what is theirs. Do not spread corruption through this land." The market went quiet. Then the laughter started. "Shuaib," a merchant called out, still holding his rigged scale. "Does your God really care about a few grams of grain?" More laughter. But Shuaib didn't leave. He came back, the next day, and the day after. Same market, same voice, same message. Give what people are owed. Stop stealing with a smile. The merchants grew uncomfortable, not because they felt guilty, but because he was becoming a problem. People were starting to listen. Some customers began questioning their purchases. Some younger merchants felt uneasy. Shuaib was bad for business. So the chiefs called a meeting. The big names of Madyan, the ones whose wealth was built highest on the backs of rigged scales. They had a plan. Not to debate him, not to reason with him, to crush him. They came to him publicly, where everyone could hear. "Shuaib, we don't understand what you're saying. Half of it makes no sense to us." A lie. They understood perfectly. "And frankly, you are weak among us." Another message, hidden inside the words. "We could destroy you if we wanted." Then they said it plainly. "Were it not for your family name, we would have stoned you already." Let that land. They didn't say, "Your arguments are wrong." They didn't say, "Your God doesn't exist." They said, "The only thing keeping you alive is your last name." That is not confidence. That is fear wearing the mask of power. Shuaib looked at them and responded quietly. "Is my family more valuable to you than Allah? You have thrown him behind your backs like he doesn't exist." Then he said something they didn't expect. I don't want to be the one who forbids you and then does the very same thing. I only want reform, as much as I am able. He wasn't positioning himself above them. He wasn't performing. He genuinely wanted them to be better. That is what made him dangerous. Corrupt people can handle angry enemies. They cannot handle sincere well-wishers. So they gave him an ultimatum. Either you return to our way, worship what we worship, live how we live, use the scales like everyone else, or we drive you out. You and every single person who follows you. Leave or become us. Shuaib's answer was immediate. Even if we are unwilling, we would be inventing a lie against Allah if we return to your ways after He saved us from them. Then he made a dua. Not a curse, a dua. Our Lord, decide between us and our people in truth. You are the best of those who decide. He handed it to Allah and walked away. The chiefs watched him go and turned to the crowd. Listen, anyone who follows Shuaib will lose their business, their trade connections, their place in this market. You will be finished. And many people, ordinary people, chose the market over the message. Because when your family is hungry, principles feel like a luxury. Shuaib gathered the believers, the small group who chose truth over the trade routes of Midian. They left, walked out of the city they were born in, left behind the markets, the homes, the smell of spices in the morning bazaar, everything. And then, the silence of Midian was broken. Not by a merchant, not by a scale hitting a counter, by a sound from the sky. The Quran calls it As-Sayhah, the shriek. One sound, and the merchants of Midian fell where they stood, at their scales, in their market stalls, in their homes counting their coins. The Quran says they became motionless in their homes, not running, not fleeing, motionless, as if frozen mid-cheat. Shuaib stood outside the city and looked back and said, "Oh, my people, I delivered every message. I advised you with everything I had. So how can I grieve for people who refuse to listen?" He still called them my people, even at the end. Madyan is gone, but its location, near Al-Bad in northwestern Saudi Arabia, still exists. The trade routes still exist. The crossroads still exist. Archaeologists still dig there. But the merchants, the scales, the chiefs who threatened a prophet with stones, dust. Here is what stays with me about Shuaib. He didn't perform miracles of nature. No flood, no earthquake on command, no she-camel from a rock. His miracle was simpler and harder. He stood in a corrupt marketplace and told the truth, every single day, to people who didn't want to hear it. That was his miracle. The people of Madyan didn't lose their lives because they were evil people. They lost their lives because they built an entire civilization on taking what wasn't theirs and called it normal. Look around you today. Rigged scales still exist. Different shapes, hidden fees, false advertising, manipulated weights, stolen wages. The names change, the sin doesn't. And somewhere, in every generation, there is a Shuaib, standing in the market, saying what nobody wants to hear. The question is, are you throwing stones or are you listening?